Okay, so we just have a lot going on, and in today's lesson, I'd like to talk about some like useful phrases you could actually do in the indicative present form, and I would like to go over the subjunctive present form today. I'll show you some conjugations in the subjunctive present form. So here, I'm going to get my whiteboard out. Okay. So, why don't we get this started? So, here's a useful phrase you could say. Like, for example, if you're describing me, yo soy un hombre. Right? I mean, I am a man. Or you can say, like, if somebody's telling me, be sure my keyboard is in Espanol. See that? Tú eres un hombre. That means somebody's telling me that I am a man, but there's an even more formal meaning to that. But usted es un hombre. Like, if somebody I don't know very closely is asking me, it's better to say usted es un hombre, right? I've forgotten the. I need my keyboard in caps lock. There we go. See, this would be the correct form. He would say this means he is a man. See that? Now, what about this? Nosotros somos unos hombres. We are men, right? Now, in Spain, you would use vosotros sois unos hombres. And Latin America, you would say ustedes son unos hombres. See that? Now catch that. This is the correct plural form of those guys are men. What a difference that can make when you make it plural. See that? Let's go over another useful phrase. Like, I'm going to describe me first. I'm going to try a different color here. Let's go green. Yo como manzanas. I actually learned this from Duolingo. Yo como manzanas. What do you guys think that means? And I would encourage you guys to pause this video and try to figure out some of these useful phrases I'm going over on your own. I encourage you guys to pause this video and actually try to translate this phrase into English. What do you think yo como manzanas means? I revealed the answer. It means I eat apples. See that? What if I conjugated it a little differently? What if I go second person singular? Tú comes manzanas. See that? I mean, this is only used if somebody very, very close to me or is really related to me or even is family to me, you would use the second person singular. And take a guess at what this means. I encourage you to pause the video again. This means you eat apples. Or there's another possible meaning, like if you're asking a question, do you eat apples? So look, how this would have been affected by this. As you can see, Spanish language is the upside down question mark. This is a really rare thing you need to know when you're typing in Spanish, is the upside down question mark before the word and the regular question mark after the ending word. See? Let's go like this. Usted come manzanas. What do you think that means? Well, usted is a more appropriate way of saying you eat apples, right? Or the same thing applies. Do you eat apples? Right? Oh, there we go. It's just that Spanish keyboard is so confusing sometimes, but because you have to use these special controls. But you can clearly see that usted is a formal way of saying you. Like if somebody that is not too close to me, or if I'm like a teacher and somebody's asking me, it's more appropriate to use the third person singular. See? And then, ooh, let's try something interesting. Él come manzanas. See that? That means, take a guess and try to pause this video and figure it out. He eats apples. See that? Now, how about this? Ella come manzanas. She eats apples. See that? Now we're going to make it plural. Now we're going to make it plural and say nosotros comemos manzanas. The nosotros form is the plural form in the first person. And this means we eat. apples. Right? See? Now let's make this a little more interesting. Say nosotras come manzanas. And this is the feminine version, meaning we eat apples. This is a feminine meaning for we eat apples. It's like the nosotros is masculine, nosotras is feminine, right? Now in Spain, vosotros coméis manzanas. This is only used in Spain. This is you, plural, eat apples. See that? Okay, let's make this a little more interesting and say vosotras coméis manzanas. That's still the plural form of you eat apples, right? Okay. Now we're going to go Latin America style and say ustedes comen manzanas. And this means they eat apples. Because when you're talking ustedes form, you're talking a much bigger crowd, right? About this, ellos comen manzanas. Ooh, what do you think this means? You guys eat apples. Or the same thing applies even in the plural form. Do you guys eat apples? See that? Then in Spanish, you have to include the upside down question mark before and the regular question mark at the end if you're asking a question. See that? And then make this a little bit more interesting. Ellas comen manzanas. Ooh, this is a feminine. You can say you gals eat apples. Gals is a word referring to a girl, right? Because ellas is feminine. And the same thing also works here. Do you gals eat apples? Right? And then in Spanish, you got to include the upside down question mark and the regular question mark. See that? How about another useful phrase? Let's clear our drawings here. Stay on text. Let's go over one more because of time consumption in the video. We are going to do yellow this time, yeller. So I know of a really good one. Yo tengo un gato. What do you think yo tengo un gato means? This is a really easy one. I trust you guys. I have a cat. See that? That was just too easy. But what if I made it tú tienes un gato? You have a cat. Or you can say, do you have a cat? And just form it into a question, right? But if you form it into a question in Spanish, you got to be very careful. This is what you have to include right here. If you form it into a question in Spanish, you got to remember this upside down question mark at the beginning, right? Okay, I'm going to make it a little more trickier. Usted tiene un gato. What do you think usted tiene un gato means? I'm begging you to try it. You have a cat. Formal. I mean, this is the more polite way of saying you have a cat. If you use the third person singular, especially when you're asking like your teacher or like a community helper or anything, right? Or you can form it into a question and say, do you have a cat? Right? In Spanish, you have to be very careful of this. See? Okay. Now it's going to get a little more complicated. Él tiene un gato. I misspelled it. Él tiene un gato. What do you think that means? Pay attention to the pronoun at the beginning. He has a cat, right? See? Ella tiene un gato. What happened here? When I say ella tiene un gato, she has a cat. Because ella is the feminine version of L, right? Okay, we're going to make this even more interesting. Nosotros tenemos unos gatos. Let's just say nosotros tenemos un gato. We're just going to stick with just one cat in this meaning, but I'm making it plural. Nosotros tenemos un gato. What happened here? There was something major happening right here. If you go into nosotros form, it's plural, right? And that's meaning we, masculine, have a cat, right? Now what if I made this nosotras? I'll give you a hint. This is not masculine anymore. Nosotras is, take a guess, feminine. See that? If you're talking nosotros, we say we boys have a cat. And if you're saying nosotras, we girls have a cat. Right? In Spain, vosotros tenéis un gato. This means you, plural, masculine, have a cat. I got to make my text box a little bigger. So look at that. This refers to you in Spain have a cat. Or you could even form the vosotros form into a question as well and say, do you have a cat? And you got to be careful. You got to be careful. It doesn't matter if it's Spanish in Spain. You still have to include this upside down question mark. Clear that out. Clear that out. The English is pretty easy. Now, what if I made this vosotras tenéis un gato? This is now you, plural form, feminine. See that? But it still means you have a cat. It's just the feminine version. And then you can still form this into a question because it doesn't matter if it's masculine or feminine. But in Spanish, you still have to denote upside down question mark. See that? Okay. We're going to make this even more interesting. Now we're going to go Latin America style for you. So, ustedes tienen un gato. This is the Latin America version that we use. This means, take a guess. Pay attention to the pronoun. They have a cat. Right? You can still form this into a question and say, do they have a cat? Did my punctuation there. In Spanish, you have to be very careful of your punctuation because the punctuation is at the beginning and end of the sentence in Spanish. Okay. Ellos tienen un gato. What do you think this means? This is still in the Latin American version for you guys. And I just gave it out. It's, you guys have a cat. Right? I'm not going to form these into questions because of time consumption. Ellas tienen un gato. I'm begging you. You gals have a cat. See that? Again, I refer gals to girls, right? Ellas is like a group of girls in the plural, right? I think that's good enough. I think that's good enough for phrases. I'm going to jump right into the subjunctive present tense. I'm going to show you some conjugations in the subjunctive present. So let me change my color to red. So no big thing. So I want to go over the verb said. What do you think the conjugations for the verb said is in the subjunctive present tense? Well, this is a little trickier. You got to use your brain a little more. Well, there is an exception to this. Ser in the yo form in the subjunctive present tense is yo vaya. See? Tu vayas. Él, ella y usted vaya. Nosotros y nosotras vayamos. Vosotros y vosotras, used in Spain, vayáis. Accent in the A. Accent in the second A. Accent in the last syllable of the conjugation. And ellos, ellas y ustedes vayan. See that? Now notice we talked about in the previous video, the verb ser was soy, eres, and es. This is just the subjunctive version. I want you to notice one thing. I want you to notice one thing right here. In the subjunctive present tense, I just changed the color of my text. I just want to draw something. So notice in the subjunctive how the end of the root changed, how the end of the verb changed. In an ER type verb, the root becomes a. See that? This is one thing I want you guys to notice in the subjunctive form right here. What I'm marking down. You can tell this is subjunctive just by looking at it, right? The subjunctive is a special mood used to describe our emotions, situations in doubt and disbelief, things you want, things you wish you had, right? I mean, a good useful phrase, you would say, es urgente que vaya, and then you just continue on with whatever you want to say. So anyways, the conjugations for the verb ser in the subjunctive present tense is yo vaya, tú vayas, él, ella y usted vaya, nosotros y nosotras vayamos, vosotros y vosotras vayáis, y ellos, ellas y ustedes vayan. Now it's going to get a little bit trickier from here. What if I do the verb estar? Our little verb conjugation chart here. Try the verb estar. Yo este, accent mark in the E. Tú estés. See that? Él, ella, y usted, este. Nosotros, nosotras, estemos. Notice, no accent mark in the nosotros form. Vosotros y vosotras estéis. Ellos, ellas y ustedes estén. See that? There's a big, huge difference in the subjunctive present tense. I will show you guys again. Notice AR type verbs change to E. The subjunctive present tense is a big, huge difference, makes a big, huge difference. See that? So the verb estar, all conjugated in the subjunctive present tense, is yo este, tú estés, él, ella, y usted este. Nosotros y nosotras estemos. Notice there's no accent mark in the E in the nosotros form because there's no stress. Vosotros y vosotras estéis. Ellos, ellas y ustedes estén. See that? So let's go over. Let me think. I'm going to try using a different color. Let's try yellow. Yellow for the font too. Trying to think of a good verb we could do. Wait a minute. Didn't I just get shatter wrong? I'm sorry, guys. Actually, the verb sad. Let me redo sadder. I think I got it wrong. Verb sadder is actually yo seya to seas, right? Ella, usted, sea. Nosotros y nosotras seamos. Vosotros y vosotras seáis. Ellos, ellas y ustedes sean. Still, guys, notice this. Notice a change here. Notice a change at the end of the verb in the subjunctive. So the verb sadder, to correct my mistake here, is yo sea, tú seas, él, ella, y usted sea. Nosotros y nosotras seamos. Vosotros y vosotras seáis. Ellos, ellas y ustedes sean. Sorry about that, guys. I gave you a taste of the verbs ver and ir for the most part with the yo vaya, tu vayas, right? So this time I want to use yellow. Yellow for the text as well. Okay. Actually, comer is a good one to go for. I'm just going to go over a few of these because So let's go over the verb comer. Comer, conjugated in the subjunctive, is yo coma, tú comas, él, ella y usted coma, nosotros y nosotras comamos, vosotros y vosotras comáis. Where's my cursor? Here it is. Ellos, ellas y ustedes coman. And notice, see how I'm changing from E. See how ER verbs change to A? I'm actually going to do an IR verb, the next verb I do. So, comer, conjugated in the subjunctive present tense, is yo coma, tú comas, él, ella y usted coma, nosotros y nosotras comamos, vosotros y vosotras comáis, and ellos, ellas y ustedes coman. Now, there's one thing I would like to go over. I'm actually going to mark, I'm actually going to mark down in red what is used in Spain. And I'm going to mark in green what is used in Latin America. So look at this. That is used in Spain. See that? And that is used in Latin America. See that? Okay. I would like to go over an IR verb. This time, let's use green. Yeah, let's use green this time. Green machine. So, draw our little conjugation chart here. I am going to go for the verb vivir. Conjugating this in the subjunctive form, present tense, is yo viva. Tú vivas. Él, ella y usted viva. Nosotros, nosotras vivíamos. Vivamos. Sorry. Vosotros y vosotras viváis. Ellos, ellas y ustedes vivan. See? And notice this. In the subjunctive present tense, do that, but in the subjunctive, notice this. A change. The subjunctive present tense is a more compound version of a present tense in the Spanish language. Even IR verbs change to A. So vivir in the subjunctive present tense is yo viva, tú vivas, él, ella y usted viva, nosotros y nosotras vivamos, vosotros y vosotras viváis, ellos, ellas y ustedes vivan. But these verbs do get a little bit trickier. Oh yeah, let's use purple. These verbs do get a little trickier. Like, what if I did the verb empezar? What if I did the verb empezar? Conjugated in the subjunctive present tense, yo empiece. Tú empieces. Él, ella y usted empiece. Nosotros y nosotras empecemos. Vosotros y vosotras empecéis. Ellos, ellas y ustedes empiecen. Now, notice this. Notice this just for a second. Oh, sorry about that. Notice this just for a second. Look, that is a stem change right there. It is a stem change for pronunciation. See that? I mean, what if I said something like this? What if I said yo empecé? That word doesn't exist in the Spanish language. You can't say that. You cannot say this. See that? That's why in the yo and the usted form, notice this. Notice this too. Notice this. The yo, dang it, my erase. There we go. The yo form and the el, ella, y usted form are the exact same conjugations. See that? That's a minor thing you got to know. And then, oh, so many silly mistakes like that. And here are the other stem changers right here. And this is the exact same one. But also notice in the nosotros and vosotros forms. See how these are not stem changing at all? That's because the pronunciation would make it sound kind of funky if you say empiecemos or empieces. Those are words that just don't exist in the Spanish language. And then notice this too. Whatever I'm circling in yellow are what stems are where the stem changes occur. So empezar, conjugated in the subjunctive present tense, is yo empiece, tú empieces, él, ella y usted empiece. Nosotros y nosotras empecemos, vosotros y vosotras empecéis, ellos, ellas y ustedes empiecen. Now, it's going to get a little trickier from here. Trust me. So we're going to go orange. Naranja. See? So our little conjugation table here. Actually, let's try the verb hacer. Let's try the verb hacer, just because we haven't tried it yet. We're going to try the verb hacer. So what happens here? Yo haga, tú hagas. See that? Él, ella y usted haga. Nosotros y nosotras hagamos. Vosotros y vosotras hagáis. And ellos, ellas y ustedes hagan. See? And still notice that ER verbs change to A. So hacer conjugated in the subjunctive present tense is yo haga, tú hagas, él, ella y usted haga, nosotros y nosotras hagamos, vosotros y vosotras hagáis, ellos, ellas y ustedes hagan. Now, it's going to get a little bit trickier. Trust me here. But things start to get a little haywire when you think of like the irregular verbs. Hacer was one of those irregulars. Let us try one more verb. Let me try a color I haven't even used yet. So, our little Spanish conjugation chart here. So what if I did the word salir? What if I did the verb salir? This is actually a good one. This is a very good one. This one has many exceptions to it. Salir in the subjunctive, yo in the subjunctive present tense form is yo salgo, yo salga. See that? Because salgo would just be the indicative present form, so it would just be yo salga. Tú salgas. Él, ella y usted salga. Nosotros y nosotras salgamos. Vosotros y vosotras salgáis. Ellos, ellas y ustedes salgan. Salir was a very good verb to do. So salir conjugated in the subjunctive present form is yo salga, tú salgas, él, ella y ustedes, él, ella y usted salga. Nosotros y nosotras salgamos. Vosotros y vosotras salgáis. Ellos, ellas y ustedes salgan. I would like to go over a few useful phrases for the subjunctive as well. So I'm going to alternate back to red. So how would you say it is necessary that you have a cat? Well, this is a subjunctive case. So you say es necesario que tú tengas un gato. See that? Es necesario que tú tengas un gato. You see, if you're saying it's necessary to do something, you follow that by the subjunctive. Now take a stab and guess what that means. is necessary that you have a cat. See that? Just gonna review, but notice this here. Dang it. Just change the freaking color of this thing. But notice this. Es necesario que. And what do you follow it by? You follow this by the subjunctive. See that? Okay. So let's try another one. Es recomiendo que. It's recommended that. How about you eat your vegetables? Tú comas sus vegetales. Es recomiendo que tú comas sus vegetales. There might be a situation here. This is what a doctor would say to you. In Spanish, it is recommended that you eat your vegetables. Let's make this a little interesting. Es recomiendo que tú comas sus vegetales todos los días. And look at that. See? It is recommended that you eat your vegetables every day. Es recomiendo que tú comas sus vegetales todos los días. See that? Here. Es importante que tú duermas. It's important that you sleep 8 hours at night. So, 8 horas en la noche. Okay. What do you guys think this means? Es importante que tú duermas 8 horas en la noche. I'm begging you guys to pause the video and try it. It is important that you sleep 8 hours at night. See that? It is important that you sleep 8 hours at night. Es importante que tú duermas 8 horas en la noche. See that? Well, that concludes this lesson for today. And then The next time I see you guys, I'm going to be going over the preterite and imperfect tenses and showing you some conjugations there. And you know what? Go big, go small, do whatever. You got to go big. Josh, AK Killer 95, signing off. Peace.